You are.
All right.
It's me or Hick. Take your pick. I'm the only guy that can beat Hickenlooper.
Maybe in a street fight.
No, it's true.
What election have you won?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Where's the electorate mindset right now? The Republican Party, the Democratic Party are at the lows, below 30%. Independent voters have surged, estimated between 40 and 45% in Colorado alone. Nationally, they're way ahead of the two parties. And the reason is everybody keeps saying that these two parties have succeeded. Well, maybe it's just taken a while for it to catch up to us.
All right, so you think somebody who hasn't had elected office has a better shot?
Absolutely.
All right.
We don't need more politicians and lawyers.
That means you have Mayor Hick on the center left, and on the center right, you have Mays, who hasn't had an elected office. You that haven't had an elected office, I'm assuming, Mr. Brown, you haven't had an elected office. You still have 3-to-1 to choose from. That's not going to be enough, even if your premise is true.
It is if it's a two-way race.
Oh, all right, hang on. So let me see if I get this one now. So you're so good that Mays, Tancredo, and Mr. Brown here are likely to drop out of the race so you can go head-to-head with Hick.
No.
No.
I'm not saying, I would never ask someone to do that. That's
okay.
not, I don't think that's professional. I'm saying if you look at my background, my skill set, look, people have different skill sets in life. That's just the bottom line. And that's the way I look at it. I have a skill set that can win. I have a skill set that can do the job. And I'm not saying any other candidates don't. That's for the voters to decide. I'm telling you that I do.
All right, but you get you get the larger question here, which is on the center right, we've got 4 guys vying for 1 seat. On the center left, you've got 1 guy. I can't see how this helps any of the 4 on our side of the issue. It only helps the 1 guy who doesn't have to get any votes split. You've heard this over and over again.
Right, but
as a libertarian.
So for me, yeah, exactly. It's a whole history of it. But you know, for me, I don't have any preference. And to me, the Republicans did it to themselves. You know, when you had Bush in both houses of Congress and, you know, just kept expanding.
You have not found a Republican who's harder on the Republican Party than me. You've heard my axiom many a time. I'm not going to repeat it now. But still, would you agree, maybe you wouldn't, would you agree, all other things being equal, that it would be better to have somebody like Mays rather than Hickenlooper as governor?
No.
Would you then say it's better to have Hickenlooper rather than Mays?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think that libertarians are pulling votes away from Hickenlooper? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm here to actually, kind of like Jason, I'll do the job better than anybody else in the race. To me, it's about actually doing the work that needs to get done, not the campaign trail and throwing money out the window as we say we're going to balance the budget. As you're spending millions on a campaign, so people...
Then how are you going to win? You guys might be great governors. You might be fine executives. You might be able to do wonderful things when you win the election, but there's that tiny problem. You got to win the election. So tell me, let's go over here. Well, how are you, a libertarian with no money and a small third party, going to knock off a remarkably popular mayor with name recognition in the high 80%, who has millions of dollars to spend? How are you going to not only pick off him, but Tancredo and Mays and this guy who's certain he's going to win?
Well, so take all that, that's all fine. But, you know,
I asked you a direct question. I want a direct answer.
Okay, ask me again, direct.
How are you going to win?
Because I'm going to give the people, if I'm on enough shows and you actually, the media does their job.
So it's up to me now?
No.
So you can't win unless you get guys like me to get you on the
your show. So, you know, maybe it's coming around. You hate libertarians, and I got invited on your show. I didn't even ask.
Hey, I invite a lot of people I hate on this show.
So anyway, the point is that, like, if I can make the next governor, whoever it is, preferably me, a better governor, then that is a serious win.
It's a wonderful answer to a question I didn't ask. How are you going to win the governor's office?
I'm going to campaign as much as I can and not lose my job. And
what is your job?
I'm a real estate appraiser.
There you go. All right. How are you going to win? Let me in on some of that great Jason Clark secret football strategy you've got going.
I'll tell you exactly how I'm going to win. I'm going to go north, south, east, and west, talk to the people. Every weekend, I've been doing this already. I've been on those trails, talking, planting seeds everywhere, talking to the people, the way politics used to be. Hear me out. And then I have some money that I'm going to put in, my dollars, and I've got endorsements that I'm going to come out with very shortly. I can't make the announcement here. I'd love to, but I can't because I'm not confirmed.
Big endorsement?
Very big.
Really big?
Yes. So
I mean, Caldara big? That kind of big?
Nah, come on now. We're not talking Caldara big, but yeah, much bigger.
Can't be so.
Yes, sir. And the reason I have those, you know, I've developed these contacts. Again, skill set. I've networked my whole life.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, even if you were out there to shake hands with every registered voter. There's what, 3 million registered voters in the state at least? That's a lot of walking around and shaking hands and kissing babies. One guy can't do that. You can't just get out and meet everybody. You might be able to do that in the city council race. You can't do it here.
Yes, you can.
Really?
Scott Brown, Massachusetts.
Scott Brown, Massachusetts, had gobs of money flowing in from
He
around.
won. He took his truck and he drove around. And Ted Kennedy said, you got to admit, though, before that, did you think it was ever possible? No, you didn't.
I did not.
No one did. There you go.
And you can also
That's how I think.
But you could also thank Barack Obama and health care reform that gave him the momentum. That was Massachusetts, who lives under Obamacare, Romney care, the same thing. And they didn't want it. They saw it, and that's why he was elected. And he had a lot of money, which you're going to be able to get.
Can I say this?
You can say anything you like.
Look at what's happening here in Colorado. I'm not delusional, right, John. I know this is a long shot. I know I'm an underdog, and I know certain things have to happen for me to win. But guess what? Without anything to do with Jason, they're doing it to themselves. Okay? So you have to admit.
All right, I'm gonna give you that point.
I mean, I don't have to. In other words, it's nothing that I have done. All I've done is just stood up and spoken from my heart as a true American and someone that loves Colorado and thinks that I could do a better job than the other guys. That's all I've said. And the fact that the Republicans have who they have, I would challenge you on Hickenlooper being popular, according to the people that I've talked to.
I never said popular. I said
name recognition.
He is popular, particularly in the metro area, and his name recognition is off the charts.
He's not near as popular as I think you think he is. He really isn't. The people that I've talked to, not so much.
I'm sure your mother and your brother don't like him, but the rest of the people you need to talk to as well.
Up in Rifle, all over that valley, up in Gypsum, all the way up in Julesburg. I've been up to Sterling. I've been down south of Pueblo. I'm telling you, he's not that popular. So
I hope you're right.
I am right. But here's the
can you win if nobody else on the center right drops out?
That would be very difficult. Again, something would have to happen. You know, you never know what's going to happen. And here's another example for you.
Your thought being, you got to play in order to win. Whoever thought that Dan Mays would be the Republican standard bearer? You talked to anyone 3 months ago and say that couldn't happen. And I'd argue that Dan Mays didn't win this nomination. It was that Scott McGinnis lost it. You know, were you in agreement?
I'd agree with that.
Correct. And what about the young kid Josh Penry? You know, let's bring his name up here. What would have happened had he not quit?
He'd be the nominee right now.
Exactly. He'd be the next governor, probably.
I think so.
He got pushed out. Okay, we can talk, you know,
By
pushed
the
out,
party.
quit. Well, whatever. But the fact is, had he not quit and he stuck to his guns, he would have been the next governor.
All right,
absolutely.
fair enough. I like your attitude.
And more importantly, once elected, are you going to serve your constituents or are you going to serve the party who got you your position and you will comply? So you need, to me, someone from the outside.
I just wish there was a Green Party and a Communist Party and a Socialist Party running this year. My sense is that the left does this better. Think of this. There wasn't even a primary for governor. Hickenlooper walked into it. 4 years ago, Bill Ritter, a pro-life Democrat running for an open seat, never got a primary challenger. How does that happen? That means that our team likes to get into the circular firing squad and take shots at each other, whether it was Holtzman, Beaupre, or this year McGinnis, Josh, and Mays. We do the same thing. Go ahead.
But where you're wrong is even considering me center-right, because I'm not center-right. I'm a libertarian. I look at it liberty, authority. That's where the spectrum is for me. Whether it's the left boot or the right boot doesn't matter.
I would argue, and I think we could show this, libertarians pull from Republicans. Yeah. I would imagine most of your libertarian, and I'm a libertarian by philosophy, you're a libertarian by party, you're a large L libertarian. I would imagine most large L, not all, but most large L libertarians are recovering Republicans. Like me, so sick of the party, they just can't take it any longer.
Well, just on the one fact that we want to lower taxes gets no attention from the left. They just threw us out immediately. But when I try to explain, I want to lower taxes because I want to end the drug war and I want to end the war on terror. You know, let's end they're overfunded. Let's defund these people. That's the only way you get them to stop.